Boats, free motion embroidery and candlelight. This week it's rained for what feels like forever. I'm not sure that we've seen any sunshine at all. The towpaths are muddy, the dogs are muddy, and so are my floors. I think it's fair to show you that it's not all glamorous on the boats. I mean, winter can be a really hard time. I'm not sure we've actually seen any sunshine this week. It is still beautiful though, and we get to see all this gorgeous wildlife that I suppose we're taking for granted now. The ducks and the moorhens are happy. The bulbs are sprouting through, and I'd like to say spring is in the air, but it's definitely not, and we always normally get a second winter. This week's been a bit difficult for me. It's 4 years since my mum died, and I always struggle with this week. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about grief, because that can be triggering for many of us. So you're not going to see me on video this week because I've not looked my best, and you really don't need to see that. I have been doing lots of video recording though, and this next section is free motion embroidery and how I like to do it. Thrown in with a few mistakes. Before I start, I just want to apologise how dark it is. I don't think we've seen the sun in ages. I'm doing the best with the lighting that I've got in the little boat. These are the designs that we're going to use for the free motion embroidery masterclass. That's in February. It's a live event and there are a couple of places left. So let's get cracking. I would normally use a light box, but I'm not doing too good on electricity at the moment. I've got a light fabric here, and the lines on this are nice and dark on the print off that I've got. So I am now going to, I've got my friction pen, and I'm now going to start drawing onto the fabric, just tracing those petals. I haven't found a better pen, so if anybody's got a better solution than using a friction pen, please let me know. This is a really simple design, but it's going to look so effective when it's stitched out. I'm now going to get some stabiliser. So I'm using a stitch and tear, and then we'll pop it in the hoop. I was scratching around for stabiliser. Don't have much left. Okay, so I'm just going to let that dry a bit. I did spray that a little too close. You can see what happens there if you spray the 505 a bit too close to either your fabric or your stabiliser. So I'm just going to let that dry a little bit and go a bit tacky. And then I'm going to place the design on the middle. And we can still see all our pencil marks because the fabric's on the top, the stabiliser is on the back. Oh, and there's a boat going past. As I'm recording, could you see the camera wobbling? They did slow down. And I'm not going to re-record this. So, when you are doing free motion embroidery, I like to use a hoop. I like to use different methods actually. Can you see I've just cut this a little too shy. Now I am putting this in the reverse way to what you would do if you're doing cross stitch or hand stitching. Press that in place. I might need to, there we go. Right. So can you see that it's upside down to what you would normally do if you're hand sewing. I'm going to use a 50 weight thread. This is the Aurifil thread, and the number on that is, hang on, 2692. So that's one of my preferred threads for free motion embroidery. I like to use Schmetz needles, and the needle that we're going to use for this thread is an 8012. And that's what Aurifil recommend. And you're probably using that anyway most of the time. The foot that I'm going to use is this open toe darning foot, so I can see where the needle is and where I need to move the fabric around underneath it. Most sewing machines will have one of these in their kits. I'm going to put a black bobbin in the bottom. So I've got one there that's already pre-wound. I need to get the sewing machine set up now. Now, I haven't done much free motion embroidery on this sewing machine, so I am going to be testing this out on you guys as well. So I'm going to get to the free motioning section. It says I need to lower the feed dogs, so these are around the side here. I've lowered them and now it's come up straight away with the stitches that I can use. So what have we got? We've got straight stitch 1, straight stitch 2. Oh, so that's in the middle. I think that's to the left hand side. Let's just press that. Oh yeah, that doesn't like the darning foot that I've got on, but that is okay with it. We've got a zigzag stitch there. What else have we got? Straight stitch 4. Okay. We're going to stick with the stitch in the middle. You see here it's showing me that that's in the middle there. The feed dogs are lowered and I'm just going to have a little practice first. Right, I think I'm ready. So this hoop won't automatically go underneath the foot, so I need to lift that up a bit at the back, and there we go, that's going to sit nicely in there. Now if I don't use an embroidery hoop, I'll use my quilting gloves, and I've got another bit of kit as well, but I'll probably show you that in another video as well. So I'm just trying to think where to start, and I'm going to turn this upside down. Now a lot of die-hard quilters will say you shouldn't need to move your hoop or your piece of work around. I'd say just do what is best for you. Okay, so I just need to get rid of that. So we're going to go up here first. I'm going to press the foot down, and here we go. Oh, that's a bit too quick for me. See, you've got a wonky line there already. But it's just going to add to the character of it. I'll just go back up the middle now. It does take a bit of getting back in the swing of it. I can't remember the last time I did this. I'm not feeling very comfortable with it today. See, I've completely missed my line there, but we'll just keep going. I have speeded this section up, so don't think that I can sew at this speed. Can you see now how I'm building these stitches up? I'm going over these a couple of times, and it gives it that nice sketchy look. And also, if you've made a mistake like I have, you can rectify it and you're not going to tell. It does take practice. I don't care what anybody says, you do need to practice it, and you do need to just sort of embrace the mess ups that you might do. I mean, I've made loads of mistakes in this already, I can see it, but you know what, when it's finished, I mean, that's not looking too bad so far, is it? See, I don't think that's looking too bad so far. I mean, there's a few mistakes here, and I'll see what I can do to rectify those. But yeah, you just got to keep going, keep practicing. Can you see I've made a mistake here? I'm not sure how to sort that out, but we're just going to give it a go. Yeah. I'm not very happy with that at all, because the pencil mark is there. Let's see what we can do. You know, I will take this one along with me to the masterclass, because people can see then that it's not a complete disaster, she says. Right. Now, I can't really see where I'm going next, so I am going to turn this and follow this line up here. And I'm going to come back down the other side. Now, let's have a look. Do you know what? That's not too bad. Is it? Hang on. Let's go in a bit closer. Right, let's pull the extra light out and have a good look at this. From a distance, it doesn't look too bad. Now, this could have been a lot better. I don't know why I thought... Oh, that's right. I had a wobble at the beginning, didn't I? I thought I could cover it up. So that needs trimming off there. Oh, it might be stitches, actually. It's not bad for a first attempt, since I've not done it for a little while. Trying to get getting close without causing a shadow. There we go. Right, let's have a look on the back and see what the back looks like. I think the back looks better than the front, actually. No, it doesn't really, does it? But it's not that messy, is it? So what I'll do when I'm finished with this is I will pull this off. It's stitch and tear, so the stitches are really tiny anyway. It's not going to ruin my work. Not that it is a masterpiece. And yeah, and this will just tear away. Does what it says on the tin. One thing I meant to say about the hoop is that if you don't have quilting gloves, then this is a really good alternative. In fact, I prefer it than using quilting gloves at the minute. So you're moving the hoop around with your hands gently. You're not putting any pressure on your hands or your wrists, and I think it gives you that little bit more control over where your stitches are going. If you've tried using the embroidery hoop for free motion embroidery, let me know. I'd be really interested to hear how you've got on. Now, what you could do is put a little bit of colour in this, and I'm just wondering if I should just do some little bits of really light pink in here. Actually, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. We'll see what happens. Now, actually, this might be controversial. You know, I love Aurifil threads. So I think I'm going to use this 80 weight Aurifil thread. Now, it's usually used for English paper piecing and hand sewing, basically. But if you change the needle on your sewing machine to a 70-10, then you can actually use this in the sewing machine. So let's give it a go and see what the effect is like. This is my Aurifil crib sheet here, and you can see that it says 80 weight, top stitch or sharp, 70-10. So I'm just going to change that over now. I'm just going to pop that back in there. I don't know if you can see on here, these have got different colours on the shank. Actually, let me just place that down there, and what I don't want to do is lose any of these. I mean, the dogs don't come in here that often, but I would hate for them to get a needle stuck in them. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure you can see the colour. I'm not sure if you can see the colour here, but there's a little green marker there to show you that it's a 70-10 needle. I'm just going to pop that in. Can never do this when I'm on camera. Right, so I've changed my needle. I'm going to take this black bobbin out because I don't want that. And I've got a 50 weight Aurifil light pink. It looks the same shade. It'll be fine for this purpose. Now, let's get that back under the needle. I'm not sure how to do this really. We'll start off here. This is a really fine thread. Right, I've zoomed in. Right, let's have a look. Let's have a look and see. I might as well do all the other ones now, mightn't I? What I don't want to do on this, these little bits in the middle, is go over them with a pink. I need a pokey tool. I do need to iron off the friction pen, but I think that looks all right actually. As I said at the beginning of the video, it's been a bit dark and dismal here this last week, and one of the things that really cheers me up is putting my candles on in the evening. When we lived in the house, I used to have so many candles that were candlesticks, but now that is a big no-no for me in the boat. The main lights in the boat can be really harsh in the evening, so I like something that's just a little bit softer. Unfortunately, Mr. Perks would have all the lights on all the time if he could. I've got some little battery fairy lights here. They're on the copper wire and they sit lovely on the shelf that I've got. I'd like to get some more plants at some point. I'm not very good at keeping plants. I put the flashlight on so you could see the owl that I made a few years ago. I can't remember the name of the pattern. I bought some indoor hyacinths the other day. These are going to start sprouting really quickly. I love this little piece of pottery and breathe. It's mainly a reminder to myself. The hyacinths will smell beautiful when they come out. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please press the like button, the hype button, and don't forget to water the plants.